The desire to become better can begin as a noble thing, but Schopenhauer saw how easily it can curdle into torment. Perfection isn't a destination, but a horizon that always moves just out of reach. You chase it, thinking peace will meet you there. But the further you run, the more exhausted you become. You start to believe you are only as worthy as your next improvement. Slowly, the joy fades. You stop living and start performing. Growth becomes punishment. But your soul is not a project to fix, it's a presence to remember. You were never meant to earn your way into being whole. What if you paused? What if you were already enough, even in your unfinished form? In the quiet embrace of this sacred moment, we embark on a delicate journey into the depths of self-discovery. This is not a quest for the hurried or for those chasing fleeting fixes, but a gentle voyage for patient seekers of truth who linger in the soft murmurs of wisdom as it unfolds like mist over ancient hills. Amidst the ceaseless storm of noise, we find the stillness that invites us to hear our own true voice, one often drowned by the cacophony of modern existence. Here we delve into the curse of never enough, a theme intricately woven into the fabric of our lives, urging us onwards on a relentless path of self-improvement. Yet we must ask, does this pursuit enlighten, or does it cast the shadows that obscure the beauty of who we already are? From noble beginnings, the seed of self-improvement takes root in aspirations and promises, a yearning to grow, to transform beyond limitations. Yet, as intentions mature, they may ensnare us, turning our noble pursuits into prisons of self-doubt. Whispers of inadequacy echo in our hearts, celebrating potential victories only to remind us of imagined shortcomings. The persistent message insists that who we are is not enough. Satisfaction, we are led to believe, lies just beyond the next horizon, just beyond the next achievement. But this tireless quest often diverts us from our true essence, leading us away from the source of our innate worth. From these initial desires for more, we journey ever forward, often inspired by tales of transformation that light the way with hope. Ambition spurs us to resist complacency. But as we strive towards the horizon, the journey transforms from aspiration to unending becoming, a cycle where our lives are measured against what might be, perpetually dissatisfied with what is. The self-image fragments, torn between aspirational ideals and critical discernments. We chase a future self that remains ever distant, a mirage shifting with every step we take toward it. Perfectionism, seductive and alluring, promises fulfillment through flawless completion, hinting at unassailable worth once attained. Yet it chains us to ceaseless striving, our eyes fixed on an ever-receding destination. In its grip, we seek blemish-free existence, believing fixing flaws ensures love and acceptance. But perfectionism is a labyrinth without end. It absorbs joy from our efforts, stifling creativity under its heavy mantle. Our self-worth shrinks, tethered to comparisons with curated illusions. In this relentless quest for continuous improvement, self-worth may become tightly knotted to progress, a condition we accept without protest. We find ourselves not in the calm of being, but in the tumult of achievement. Each success becomes a fleeting balm, swiftly overshadowed by the looming expectation of the next milestone. Beneath this lies a fragile insecurity. Without constant improvement, what remains of our significance? This insidious narrative demands a sacrifice of emotional well-being, demanding we trade our peace for the ephemeral glory of tangible success. Comparison, considered the thief of joy, is the stream in which our ambitions swim. We judge our worth against polished snapshots of others' lives, constructing illusory perfections from mere fragments. Social comparison engenders a perpetual inadequacy, magnifying our perceived flaws while idolizing others' presumed triumphs. In evaluating ourselves against such constructs, we diminish our unique gifts, succumbing to the relentless cycle of external validation. Ambition, lauded as noble, becomes a relentless cycle without rest or boundary, leading not to elevation but to exhaustion. We equate exertion with identity, losing sight of our intrinsic worth outside achievement. Amid continuous striving, restlessness reigns, and the unsatisfied fiend of self-improvement knows no satiation. Career goals, personal achievements, all vie for our attention, often at the expense of our very essence. Yet in this pursuit, we guard ourselves against exposure, hiding behind facades out of fear of vulnerability. Authenticity becomes an ever-distant ideal, for imperfection equates to failure in this mindset. However, embracing vulnerability is the passage to strength. It is in revealing our true selves, flaws and all, that we regain the power of connection and authenticity. In this frantic search for perfection, the present moment is often abandoned, lost amidst the clamour for future ideation. We overlook the richness of now, eyes straining towards horizons that remain perpetually out of reach. Life passes quietly, unnoticed as we dwell in dreams of what might be instead of embracing what is. A disservice to the precious tapestry of experiences that unfold in the present. Yet there is a liberating power in self-acceptance, the quiet reclamation of our worth just as we are without caveats or conditions. This radical acceptance, born from within, offers fertile ground for true growth, freeing us from the confining chains of relentless striving. Through mindful practices and introspection, we may explore our inner realms, nurturing compassion and understanding for our whole selves. In embracing the paradox that Schopenhauer touched upon, we find peace in ceasing the relentless pursuit. Our value is not in doing, but in being, not in the endless quest for more, but in the graceful acceptance of enough. True transformation unfurls naturally, softly, as a flower does in the gentle warmth of the sun, an expression of authenticity where our paths unfold with kindness, balance, and an intimate connection to the depth of our unique essence. Herein lies the profound whisper of life. In being rather than becoming, we find our completeness. In the gentle hush of evening, when shadows stretch long and the world slows, we find ourselves reflecting upon the myth of arrival, a promise whispered to us since childhood. Picture a distant land, perpetually bathed in golden light, where the ideal self resides, free from the burdens of today. It is a mirage, this notion of completion, rooted deeply in our collective consciousness. Cultural tales have long equated milestones, success in work, harmony in love, personal enlightenment, with eternal peace. Yet as we draw close to these golden markers, they shift like sand beneath the feet, revealing themselves to be but phantoms. In this endless chase, the myth entices us with a promise of peace, an illusion that amplifies the whispers of inadequacy nestled within. Each stride towards this ever-receding oasis only heightens the anxiety of falling short, luring us into an unending cycle of self-improvement tasks. Much like pursuing the end of a rainbow, the fixation only deepens the void we seek to fill. Striving for finality is a dance with shadows, where the solace we crave flickers just beyond reach. True peace emerges not from relentless pursuit, but from the gentle acceptance of our imperfect, evolving selves. a quiet rebellion against the myth of completeness that unveils a profound, authentic wholeness. Our dreams are painted on a canvas of future potentials, seductive in their promise of transformation. The culture of pursuit urges us to tether our hopes to a future where life gleams with perfection, a haven where wounds are mended and joy flows unbridled. Yet this fixation on tomorrow diminishes the vibrancy of now. The illusion of a redeeming future sets us adrift where our present experiences, brimming with subtle beauty, are overshadowed by the urgency of imagined perfection. The future beckons, its siren song alluding to an ultimate peace that remains curiously unfulfilled. In this delicate balance, the fervour for control entraps us. Perfectionism entices with a whisper, promising that once all aligns to our standards, turmoil will cease. It offers order amid chaos, yet the tight grip of control breeds its own disquiet. The quest for perfection demands stringent oversight, paradoxically inviting the very anxiety we hope to quell. As exhaustion accrues, we sense that the perfection we seek is but a chimera, its promise of peace, a siren call too dangerous to follow. Authenticity lies in embracing life's untamed facets, where the flaws are not blemishes to be rectified, but textures to be cherished. Amid this dance of aspirations, our minds become a symphony of voices, each vying for prominence. The idealized self urges conformity to impossible standards. Yet the quieter, often muted voice within advocates for vulnerability and honesty, a gentle reminder of the beauty in authenticity. This internal cacophony is a crucible for introspection, where we discern the myth of arrival as not a destination, but a call to explore resilience and self-compassion. Here in the depths of our flawed humanity, we discover the richness of spirit more rewarding than any mythical endpoint. Control seduces with the promise of predictability, of taming life's uncertainties. Yet this grasp tightens into chains that bind us to a perfectionist cycle, a paradox of striving for dominion while sowing disillusionment. The shadows lengthen as we labour to subdue life's imperfections. The art of relinquishing control embraces resilience in the face of chaos, finding peace not in mastery, but in harmony. Thus we evolve, not toward a fixed end, but an acceptance of ourselves, anchored in the ebb and flow of life. Tomorrow's illusion holds us suspended, relinquishing the present in favour of what could be. The myth promises perfection on the horizon, deferring fulfilment always to another day. In dissolving this illusion, we turn toward the richness of now. Mindfulness unveils the beauty of today's imperfections, shielding us from the myth's relentless grasp. In embracing the present moment, we find that life unfolds not in future scenes, but in the vibrant tapestry of today. Identity weaves this myth through narratives of roles and personas, offering the elusive promise of unveiling our true selves. Milestones and achievements tether our worth to external validation, perpetuating a cycle of conditional self-esteem. Liberation lies in unshackling from these roles, embracing a dynamic self rooted in authenticity. Through reflection and self-discovery, we melt the armour that binds us, embracing wholeness over flawlessness. The quest for perfection sprouts from inner expectations, beliefs cultivated by life and experience. These internalized scripts whisper of worthiness, encouraging conformity to ideals severed from our truth. The myth exploits these narratives, urging completion through their fulfillment. Examining these expectations differentiates between inherited constraints and authentic desires, reclaiming the power to define success. Thus, we dismantle perfectionism's chains, cultivating self-awareness and compassion. Finally, joy emerges, not from a quest for perfection, but within the folds of imperfection. It blooms where vulnerability meets life unguarded, in moments cherished for their raw beauty. The myth suggests joy resides in flawlessness, yet true joy dances in life's uncontrived moments. By embracing imperfection, we foster resilience, free from the myth's coercive hold, nurturing an existence that celebrates the rich tapestries of our imperfectly human lives. In the realm of human endeavour, perfection often wears the elegant guise of a noble pursuit, whispering promises of untouchable achievements. Yet, this shimmering visage conceals a deeper, more intricate truth. It frequently serves as a cunning diversion. Within the quest for flawlessness lies a misleading beacon, distracting us from the delicate, often ignored corners of our psyche. We convince ourselves that reaching the summit of perfection will forge a shield, an armour so invincible that no human vulnerability can penetrate. Yet, this armour is fragile as glass, reflecting the jagged edges of reality where emotions, raw and unyielding, reside. The relentless pursuit of perfection becomes an ever-present hum, a background noise that drowns out the calls from within. Muted sorrows, dusty fears, and wounds softly seeking acknowledgement. Buried beneath accolades and gold stars, we lose the quiet comfort of listening to our hearts, missing the gentle whispers that speak of grief unaddressed and healing long deferred. We become the architects of a dichotomy within, crafting a conflict between the tangible allure of external achievements and the nebulous, feared landscape of our inner world. Thus, in chasing perfection, we flee from the deeper, fragile aspects of our essence, which must first be embraced to find serenity. In a bustling world where busyness glorifies itself as progress, it offers a cocoon veiled as productivity. For those caught in perfection's intricate web, busyness becomes a convenient escape, a relentless series of tasks, shielding from moments of true reflection and healing. This whirlwind of doing, rather than being, blurs the line between empowerment and avoidance. In the drive to perfect, we obscure emotional truth lurking beneath, a protective mechanism against turbulent introspection. Yet by steering ourselves ceaselessly towards the next task, we sidestep the route of transformation that demands an inward pause, allowing buried emotions to breathe. Wrapped in this illusion, perfectionism extends the counterfeit comfort of invincibility. We craft facades that claim, "I am unassailable," warding off judgment both internal and external. Yet beneath this mask lies fear of exposure, a dread of revealing the naked imperfections beneath. As relentless faultlessness forges barriers, we find ourselves isolated from the authentic exchanges that vulnerability fosters. The path to true resilience lies not in the infallible facade, but in the courageous embrace of imperfection, as woven into the tapestry of life. The more we strive to shield ourselves from judgment, the more we lose the intimate connection with our own humanity, and ultimately our authentic selves. To maintain the illusion of perfection, we opt to gloss over the churning depth of our emotional seas. Delving into these turbid waters requires confronting memories and truths our veils of perfection urge us to avoid. In seeking an unblemished existence, we skirt the profound depths shaping our true identity. This avoidance stifles our emotional intelligence, a pathway to personal growth and genuine connection. In eluding these emotional shadows, we bypass the life-sustaining energies that connect us to others through empathy and authenticity. Embracing emotions like sorrow and joy allows us to rediscover the richness of our shared human tapestry. Entrapped within the endless loop of self-improvement, where growth pursued solely for perfection becomes an elusive mirage, each achievement morphs into merely another stepstone towards an ever-shifting horizon. Instead of fulfillment in the journey, the cycle offers another means to escape engagement with our core selves. The acknowledgement and acceptance of the imperfect present, rather than a chase of unattainable ideals, break this insidious cycle. It invites us to question why the act of becoming feels inextricably tied to worthiness, turning the gaze inwards towards an inherent beauty found in simply being enough. Encouraged by the whispers of genuine introspection, we turn inward, venturing into a slow, mindful exploration of our landscape, unburdened by flawless execution. This sacred journey does not demand perfection, but fosters curiosity, an acceptance of all facets within. This inward migration shifts our focus from controlling external nuances to heeding our subtle cues, setting aside timelines and aspirations to let experiences unfold organically. In this quietude, the spectrum of emotions and truths blooms, unleashing our potential unshackled from the confines of external validation, unveiling a gracious acceptance and self-awareness. Transitioning from achievement to accepting requires courage and willingness, a bravery to confront shadows we've long avoided and embrace imperfection as a vital facet of our identity. Acceptance eases the oppressive weight of unrealistic expectations, offering tranquility born of living authentically. As we accept the entire mosaic of ourselves, joy and sorrow alike, self-compassion emerges, opening gates to connect with shared struggles, recognizing in others' journeys echoes of our own. It frees us from rigid judgments, inviting a fluid dance with life's flow, where contentment arises from simply dwelling in presence. The elusive balm of self-compassion beckons, a gentle antidote to the wounds tangled in the thorns of perfectionism. This tender embrace invites kindness towards our imperfections, challenging the narrative that perfection equals worthiness. It welcomes vulnerability and empathy as necessary avenues for healing, reframing mistakes as inherent to growth's fabric. In weaving self-compassion into our being, we foster a narrative rich with resilience and acceptance, understanding that to be human is to navigate the expansive canvas of experience shared by all. It becomes a transformative invitation, a sacred act of nurturing and unfurling resolve for gentle self-care. In surrendering to the intricate dance of imperfection, we embrace the courage to encounter authenticity. This acceptance of life's inherent uncertainties paves the way for creativity and true freedom, allowing fluidity to replace rigidity's stagnant grip. With open arms to life as an exploratory adventure, we become curious wanderers, witnessing life anew, crafting an existence unburdened by controlled destinies. Embracing imperfections fuels evolution, allowing vulnerabilities to seed flourishing creativity and understanding. In reconciling with our shadows and integrating every element of our being, we partake in a sacred journey towards wholeness, a quiet resurrection where existence itself is honoured and enough. In the shadowed corners of philosophy, Arthur Schopenhauer beckons, holding a mirror to our restless souls with the wisdom of ages. He portrays life as an endless tapestry, woven with threads of unquenched desire. It is a picture of eternal yearning, for as one want finds its stillness, another springs forth, keeping us in perpetual motion. This cycle is propelled by the will, that relentless force driving us forward, in a dance of needs and longings, forever elusive. Schopenhauer's understanding offers not just a reflection but a deep, soulful echo of our modern quests for self-improvement. Within a world awash in promises of perfection, his voice whispers a truth often left unspoken. We chase fulfillment only to uncover exhaustion and disenchantment, as if ambition itself were the very chains that bind us. To journey towards becoming something greater, we often lose sight of what we already are, as though standing on a treadmill in pursuit of an ever-retreating horizon. This imagery speaks softly of a time when we sacrifice the depth of the moment in lieu of an imagined future. The ideal self is but a mirage, shimmering in the desert of reality, ever changing as we draw close, a construct both unattainable and unsustainable. Here, Schopenhauer lifts the veil, revealing the deceptive allure of idealization as a path to satisfaction. An echo of despair emanates from striving to mould oneself to these unattainable visions. In this journey, the genuine self risks being lost amid relentless critique, the stillness of contentment perpetually disrupted by the storm of imperfection. The cycle of striving is one fraught with pain, an endless loop where achievement seems only to magnify our discontent. Society celebrates ambition, yet beneath its cheering lies the sorrow of unmet expectations and forgotten joys. Schopenhauer's insights encourage a gentle reconsideration of these pursuits. Is it not wiser, perhaps, to find peace in accepting the ebb and flow of life's natural rhythms, embracing the small moments over grand endeavours? As the soul seeks solace amidst chaos, Schopenhauer suggests stillness as a balm, an invitation to step off the treadmill and dwell in serene acceptance. This pause in a world that equates silence with stagnation becomes a revolution of presence. Here within ourselves lies a balance that tempers ambition with acceptance, an understanding that who we are in the deep unyielding now holds inherent worth. Striving, tempered by this acceptance, transforms from a relentless pursuit into a dance of curiosity, a soft exploration guided by intention rather than fear. The art of detachment unfolds like a quiet secret, embracing the transient joys of ambition without becoming entwined in its snares. Schopenhauer perceives this detachment not as indifference, but as freedom, the ability to engage with life's journey without being weighed down by it. The journey through suffering, eternally intertwined with the human experience, emerges as a teacher rather than an adversary. Within discomfort lies potential wisdom, a rugged path that, when walked, cultivates resilience and deep reflection. Schopenhauer beckons us to sit with our pain, not as a flaw to be fixed, but as a profound teacher. In this reframing, suffering becomes part of life's intricate tapestry, a place where true strength resides not in avoidance, but in understanding. It is an invitation to a vulnerability, kindly guiding us towards self-awareness. And so within Schopenhauer's insights, we seek the meaning beneath the clamour of constant striving. This meaning, gentle and rooted in simple authenticity, is an endeavour beyond the fleeting tokens of success, a journey toward relationships, passions and values that ground us in purpose. Meaning is born in the quiet presence of life's daily rituals, where the whispers of ambition dissolve into the richness of being. Here, in the embrace of the everyday, we find a new narrative, one woven with threads of contentment and self-compassion. Transcending the shadows of perfectionism, Schopenhauer invites us to illuminate this path, leaving behind yearning, to stand in the light of our own quiet, imperfect, and deeply human existence. In the quiet chambers of the mind, comparison whispers its insidious promises, casting spells of perceived success and mirrored failure. We find ourselves peering into the shimmering glass of others' lives, seeking reflections of our own. But these images, caught in the quicksilver of perception, distort rather than reveal. Behind every gaze that lingers too long on another's path lies the question of our own worth, tied not to self-discovery but to a fleeting sense of validation sought from the outside. This cycle, a beguiling illusion of progress, brushes over the intricate tapestry of our journey with strokes that betray the subtle hues of individuality. This quest for validation plucks at the strings of our essence, tuning them to the discordant notes of external benchmarks. As we idolize the neatly packaged personas of those we deem successful, we drift from our true selves, each step guided not by the compass of self-awareness, but by the compass of comparison. Such misguided navigation clouds the heart's true desires, ensnaring the spirit in a web of unfulfilled aspirations. To dance authentically to the symphony of life, we must turn inward, listening to echoes softly resonating with our dreams and values. Yet perfection in its poisoned guise tied to comparison robs us of our joy. It transforms life into a theatre, each act driven by relentless self-critique and the hollow applause of fabricated ideals. Perfection promises completion, yet delivers only a cycle of discontent, where the heart strains under the weight of unmet needs and unhealed wounds. This burden, borne silently, dims the light of authenticity, obscuring our vision of ourselves. The art of living is not in perfecting, but in accepting the melodies of our imperfections, embracing them as the vital notes that form our complete symphony. Social media, the grand stage of curated realities, amplifies the echoes of comparison. Here, the line between truth and illusion is blurred by carefully crafted narratives, each post a beacon for aspirations shaped by the ideal rather than the real. As we scroll through these digital landscapes, the brightness of others' lives casts shadows on our own, inviting dissatisfaction where there was none. Yet, in these mirrored screens lies a chance for rediscovery, an opportunity to redefine our engagement with the world, not as performers seeking validation, but as creators of our own stories, unburdened by external judgments. As we toil under the expectation of others' gaze, life becomes a relentless performance. In the echo of applause, the footprints of authenticity are washed away, leaving the trembling soul in the spotlight, desperate for acceptance, yet aching for freedom. Such is the cost of a life lived under the scrutiny of comparison, a life where identity hinges on the fleeting approval of others. To regain our essence, we must turn away from the stage and towards the quiet, where the true self, unencumbered by armour, seeks solace and understanding. In this sacred silence, we find the call to authenticity. Embracing our solitude, the cacophony of external validation fades and personal truths emerge, untarnished by the successes or failures of others. In this space, our internal compass finds its true north, guiding us back to ourselves, free from the distortions of comparison. Authenticity, a nurturing path back to the unadorned self, invites us to stand comfortably amidst our imperfections, honouring the unique journey with honesty and acceptance. Vulnerability, long masked as weakness, reveals itself as a poignant strength when released from comparison's shadow. It cuts through the facades, teaching the art of sincere openness and transforming wounds into wisdom. By leaning into the rawness of our journey, vulnerability becomes the sacred tool that embraces life's wholeness, teaching us to claim our narratives with courage and compassion. Through this lens, we find the tenderness to accept our imperfect paths, embracing them with grace. Awake and aware, we step into the realm of conscious living. Here, mindfulness becomes the gentle lantern illuminating the maze of comparison. Observing the patterns of thought, we begin realigning with values intrinsic to who we are. In moments of deliberate presence, the urge to measure dissipates, leading us toward aspirations born of inner desires, untouched by external pressures. Peace unveils itself in the simplicity of such awareness, where the dance of life becomes a celebration of natural, unforced unfolding. As our understanding deepens, success is reframed not through material or social metrics, but within the soul's quiet evolution. True success breathes in the courage of resilience and the whisper of self-discovery, unfurling in the spaces between achievement and introspection. In this reframed narrative, every step and misstep weaves the rich tapestry of an authentic life, each thread a testament to the wholeness inherent in our being. Finally, we surrender to the wisdom of non-attachment, allowing inner peace to bloom unfettered by comparison's chains. In releasing this grip, we discover a life enriched by exploration rather than bound by expectation. Non-attachment becomes a dance of gentle engagement where ambitions blossom unfurling in the freedom of being, revealing a harmony deeply woven into our essence. And so unfolds the story of life, ever sacred, ever meaningful in its quiet, inward journey toward the purity of self-acceptance. In the hushed hours of dawn, where dreams mingle with waking thoughts, lies the quiet unrest of unending beginnings. It is here that the cycle of seeking perfection takes its first tentative steps. The allure of starting anew promises a canvas yet untouched, whispering sweet assurances of fresh starts untethered by the bygone's blemishes. Yet with every new beginning, the oppressive weight of flawless upkeep hovers ominously. This paradox reveals itself not as serene rebirth, but as an anxious shackle, a dance between yearning for the new and fearing what we might leave in our wake. Perfectionism, it seems, is less about the aspiration to reach a destination and more about escaping the shadows of perceived inadequacies in who we are now. Each beginning bears the seeds of inevitability, leaving behind a trail of endeavours, unfinished and dreams suspended in time. These spectral reminders linger like echoes in the perfectionist's mind, capturing them in an eternal cycle of starts without resolution. Such is the life steeped in incompletion, where the soul catches its breath under the heavy cloak of unfulfilled potential. This self-imposed striving feasts upon the fear of these loose ends, inducing a stillness that strangles creativity and thwarts any action. Against the backdrop of each dawn, the spectre of unbaked dreams looms large, murmuring somberly of inevitable failures and imagined frailties. Wielding an invisible whip, perfectionism enforces its rule by setting standards high and hopes higher. It is a tyrant of illusory accolades, born not from aspirations, but from self-imposed mirrors, reflecting naught but our gaps. Internal whispers of self-worth tie themselves to these unreachable goals, forming links in a chain of self-doubt. For in the dance with our demons, accomplishment is often measured not by our mere being, but by peaks forever beyond our grasp. Each step climbs towards an unscalable summit, where every slip is judged harshly by the cruel overseer in our minds. This relentless quest breeds a peculiar dread, for looming ever closer is the constant spectre of shortfall. Hence, we find ourselves trapped in a vicious cycle of self-directed scorn and hesitance, every move shadowed by impending failure. Here, the fear of incompletion is the twin brother of inaction, whispering seductively that silence is safer than risk, that never starting's better than falling short. Such judgment often feels like an unwieldy weight, pressing down and immobilizing us in our inability to match the mythic scale of our own ideals. Yet beneath this overarching narrative of mastery, where every stray thread must be neatly tucked, lives the flawed myth of control. Perfectionism weaves this illusion, suggesting omnipotence over chaos, if only each detail bows to our will. For the seeker, this control feels like refuge, an armour against life's unpredictable tempests. It promises balm for vulnerability, sowing faith that vigilance might ward off weakness. Yet lurking below this seeming calm is an undertow of fraying anxieties, where any minor blemish, a line not straight, a word unsaid, threatens to unravel the whole. Eventually, the realization dawns that control is but a dream, and clinging tighter only casts deeper shadows over the soul's light. Perfectionism's gravest harm reveals itself in the stifling grip it holds around the neck of creativity. Where once the exuberant flow of ideas roamed free, now lies an arid land, critically assessed before born. There is no room for playful exploration when perfection places its heavy hand on the artist's shoulder, turning the workshop into a crucible of judgment. This oppressive force drains spontaneity, leaving a hollow husk where once sat a wellspring of innovation, once knocked silent for fear of flaw. Within the heart of this struggle, the overwhelming fear is judgment's cold gaze. Even rarer yet is it from without, for often it resides within. This inward critique magnifies every imperfection, transforming vulnerability into a perceived deficiency. In response, the perfectionist creates a facade to shield tender spots from scrutiny. But instead it only amplifies the inner storm. Time and again, performance becomes a substitute for presence, as the unfaltering fear of judgment becomes both sword and shield, drawing while also reinforcing the boundaries against connection. Yet in the stillness there is refuge, a whispered calling to embrace the beauty within imperfection. It is an invitation to look upon flaws not as enemy, but as truth's own face, reflected back. In acceptance lies a gentle liberation from striving's broken promise, from tomorrow's played echo of today. And instead life's vibrant dance takes centre stage. This release comes not in retreat, but in the bold engagement with our reality exactly as it stands now. Perfection is left behind like a whisper on the wind, while creative spirits soar unheeded along less travelled paths, speaking with a voice that's finally their own. In grace's quiet light, wholeness finds its root, a silent understanding that completeness needs no condition. Here the shadows merge with light to embroider the fabric of our existence, painting a self-portrait that is both intricate and intimate. This deeper awareness reveals that within our imperfections lie the patterns of our completeness, each discrepancy a note of our harmony. Embracing whole self, without divided judgment, gifts us a potent resilience, inviting a peaceful coexistence with the world's flow. Here, heaviness makes way for light-hearted existence, the dawn upon which the spirit of calm comes to rest, like leaves tumbling softly upon a serene pond. In the quiet heart of existence, where moments unfold like ancient scrolls in the tender flicker of candlelight, we are often lured by the siren's call of a promised tomorrow. It tempts us with visions of perfected selves, free from frailties, unburdened by today's shadows. These visions, intoxicating yet perilous, paint the present as merely a prelude to something greater. Thus ensnared, we let this distant ideal dictate our thoughts and emotions, transforming each day into an endless prelude to a future that never arrives, for the horizon always recedes. As we reach for the illusions of tomorrow's glory, we unwittingly forfeit the lush garden of the present, a tapestry vibrant in its own right. This chase for some imagined perfection subtly disempowers us. Anchored to an undefined future, we neglect a profound potential nestled within now, a raw presence that invites authentic engagement, unfiltered by expectations of what should be. Today, with all its imperfections, offers a canvas rich in texture and depth, awaiting our touch. But as we stretch towards a shimmering tomorrow, we relinquish today's beauty, surrendering irreplaceable moments to the vast desert of unattainable futures. Yet if we pause, if we breathe deeply into the now, we discover a refuge from the relentless pursuit, a sanctuary where we can meet our true selves without guile or anticipation. Here we find the stillness to witness life unadorned, free of elaborate constructs for what may be. In simplicity, we encounter a gentle rebellion against the pressing demands of self-improvement, a radical act of choosing contentment in the immediacy of life itself. This moment-to-moment awareness roots us in a groundedness that no outside achievement can replicate, an inner stillness that stands unwavering amidst the world's clamouring chaos. Within these quiet pauses, an ancient ally emerges: stillness. It is a profound act to stop in life's wild swirl, a gesture that honours the present as something more than a blur in motion. Stillness embodies presence with fullness, a deep engagement with life's subtle murmurings, often drowned out by the relentless roar of our ambitions. It is within these tranquil spaces that we touch the wisdom dwelling in stillness, an intuitive clarity that awakens in the absence of noise, offering both grounding and enlightenment. By listening to these whispers, tuning into life's subtle language, we bypass the incessant echoes of self-doubt and external expectations. In stillness, we open ourselves to insights often buried beneath the surface of conscious thought. To genuinely inhabit the present, we must listen not just with our ears, but with our very being. This approach requires setting aside conclusions and embracing curiosity, allowing life to guide us gently through its understated messages. Here within this listening lies a profound alignment with both inner truths and the world's complex harmonies. Guidance not drawn from achievement's dictates, but the authentic pulse of existence. Through this practice, joy flourishes, untethered from outcomes or future accomplishments. We reclaim happiness, finding it nestled within the mundane joys of today. This is where true satisfaction resides, not in the completion of a distant goal, but in savouring the abundant beauty already present in our daily lives. A mindset of appreciation replaces a cycle of acquisition, inviting us to revel in the ordinary wonders of our emotional landscapes. Embracing simplicity, we disentangle from the complexities imposed by constant progress. Simplicity encourages us to pare back, to seek the essence of life unencumbered by excess, stripping away layers obscuring our ability to enjoy each moment fully. In this act, we cultivate resilience, born not of force but of the quiet assurance of being true to oneself. This minimalist rhythm invites peace and balance, allowing us to redirect energies towards harmony within, free from the turmoil of relentless ambition. Non-attachment holds a secret, Often misunderstood, it offers freedom, liberating us from the outcome-dependent peace of rigid expectations. This practice is not about disengagement, but about embracing life with open curiosity, participating fully while unburdened by the need for specific results. By understanding and embracing non-attachment, we free ourselves to tread life's paths with ease, creativity, and resilience, unshackled from failure's fear or success's weight. Decoupling identity from progress is a return to the sacred now. It means recognizing worth beyond what is accomplished or the potential for more. By doing so, we nurture a presence where self-worth is inherent, not contingent on external validation. This shift allows for authentic self-expression beyond performance, grounding our existence within an acceptance of who we truly are. Lastly, we turn our gaze to the unremarkable now, the seemingly mundane moments that truly hold life's essence. These moments, often glossed over, form the fabric of our being, rich in subtleties only visible to those who linger in deliberate awareness. In this embrace, we find a patience that honours each passing moment, seeing the extraordinary in the ordinary, and weaving gratitude into the tapestry of our lives. Here, amidst the extraordinary simplicity of the present, we awaken to a life full of connectivity and wonder, a gentle unfolding that teaches us to live in harmony with the sacredness of the eternal now. In a world perpetually striving for unattainable ideals, embracing imperfection becomes a gentle act of rebellion. The endless cycle of self-judgment and dissatisfaction springs from societal standards that paint worth in hues of perfection, while life offers a broader palette. To honour our inherent humanness is not to settle for less, but to find beauty in the natural ebb and flow of being. Hidden in the creased corners of our flaws and failures lies the essence of our journey. Vulnerability, often masked, now becomes an act of courage, revealing us as we truly are. This acceptance is the fertile ground for genuine growth, a sacred space where self-love tenderly takes root, in spite of, or even because of, our imperfections. In embarking on this journey, we engage in compassionate self-inquiry, exploring the often hidden parts of ourselves we've deemed unworthy. Here we sit with discomfort, resisting the urge to hide or alter it, acknowledging that within these perceived shortcomings lie lessons and the seeds of growth. Imperfection calls us to transform self-criticism into sympathetic understanding, creating a kinder relationship with ourselves. It doesn't dampen the flame of growth, but shifts the focus from relentless improvement to nurturing acceptance. In a world that equates flawlessness with success, standing firm in one's imperfections whispers a new narrative. I am enough as I am. Turning inward requires both courage and patience. Through self-inquiry, we gently question the narratives that rule our lives, those unchecked stories dictating who we should be. In the stillness amidst external demands, we listen to the whispers of our soul. Journaling becomes a powerful ally, mapping the inner landscape of fears, desires and dialogues within, bringing clarity to what drives our tendencies. As we delve into meditative reflection, we quiet the mind, becoming detached observers of our thoughts. In this calm introspection, we see past wounds reflected in present behaviours, and we hold space for all parts of our being to emerge. Our inner critic, born of internalised criticisms and societal standards, often masquerades as motivation. Yet beneath its sharp whispers lurks fear. Fear of inadequacy and rejection. Confronting it means listening without judgment, understanding its roots and changing our relationship with it. As we peel back layers of defences, transformation begins, not by silencing the critic, but by engaging in gentle dialogue with it. By cultivating compassion in place of self-criticism, we view mistakes as learning portals, fostering resilience in life's imperfection. In befriending this critic, we reclaim our power and see that self-worth is intrinsic, untouched by external standards. Moving with gentleness toward ourselves may seem counterintuitive in a world of hustle and progression, yet it is fundamental to healing and growth. This gentleness is an art, treating ourselves with the care we extend to others, affirming our worthiness of patience and understanding. It is found in pauses for rest and reflection, embracing that productivity doesn't define us. This softer approach recognizes that growth follows natural rhythms rather than constant force. By giving ourselves permission to be works in progress, we reshape our relationship with self-improvement, finding gratitude for where we are, imperfections woven into the tapestry of our lives. Self-compassion offers a soothing balm to perfectionism's corrosion, treating oneself with the kindness we would offer a dear friend in distress. It reminds us of our shared humanity, that imperfection is the common thread of existence. This realization helps dismantle isolation born of perceived flaws and fosters connection and empathy toward the self. In moments of pain or failure, self-compassion comes with a mindful pause, a breath affirming intrinsic worth beyond achievement. This practice builds resilience, helping us navigate perfectionist pressures with grace, strengthening the belief that we are enough as we stand. Self-forgiveness becomes a pivotal rite of passage, a release of the burdens of past mistakes. It is the delicate art of acknowledging actions without allowing them to define us, seeing all as part of an evolving story. We must first confront past moments with honesty, allowing compassion to flow through understanding motivations and circumstances. Techniques such as written forgiveness or meditative release can aid in this liberating process, paving the way to acceptance and inviting liberation from perfectionism's chains. In the eternal quest for improvement, we often lose sight of identity's multifaceted nature, narrowing focus to accomplishments while neglecting true self. Finding balance means embracing identity's dynamic dance, celebrating our complexities, contradictions, and imperfections as a vibrant mosaic. We explore beyond labels and societal pressures, learning that our unique paths hold invaluable insights. This expansive self-definition encourages a more resilient sense of identity, intertwining imperfections with our evolving narrative. Vulnerability, though often shunned, holds strength and authenticity's key. To embrace it is to accept and share imperfections without hiding behind invulnerability's facade, an embrace of life's full spectrum. In this courage we find resilience, navigating uncertainties with grace, opening doors to deeper connections. This shared bravery in embracing uncertainty and change offers us honesty's profound gift, a ripple of acceptance and understanding, born not from flawlessness but from daring connection with our true selves. At last we arrive at the wisdom cradled within imperfection, where humility and insights flourish. This acceptance redefines success through personal meaning, freeing us from arbitrary standards. Within life's ebb and flow, we find peace, acknowledging imperfections as wise guides, leading us towards deep contentment and communion with life's mystery. In the twilight hours, where shadows dance gently across the edges of our consciousness, and dreams whisper in forgotten tongues, lies the quiet power of surrender. To embrace this sacred practice is to accept a timeless truth. Peace resides not in the feverish grip of possession or the endless chase of achievement, but in serene acceptance. Across centuries, Schopenhauer echoed this wisdom, standing alongside both Eastern and Western traditions. He saw peace as the absence of striving, a silent, sacred space where the endless sirens of desire are softened. Yet this is not apathy or disinterest. It is a conscious, tender choice to meet life as it unfolds, without fastening desire to bend it otherwise. This perspective invites us to question societal beliefs, which often cage worth within the gilded bars of productivity and ambition. By releasing the never-ending pursuit of more, we uncover a deeper, more abiding contentment that hums softly beneath the cacophony of our ambitions. Here, surrender invites a gentle trust in life's unfolding, a trust that is both freeing and profoundly humbling. It's a dance with the unknown, a dance lit not by the harsh spotlights of control, but by the gentle glow of possibility. The act of surrender does not bid us to stand idle. Instead, it encourages us to wade deep into the river of existence without becoming bound to its currents. Thus, Schopenhauer's insights illuminate a path away from dissatisfaction toward a life embraced softly, carrying within it a subtle engagement with each fleeting moment. Yet, woven into the fabric of modern life, lurks the illusion of control. This mirage persuades us to believe that with enough effort and precision, we might sculpt and dictate every whisper of our existence. But life's true nature lies in surprise, in the unexpected twists and turns that shatter the brittle sculpt of our plans. This realization may unsettle, yet it offers profound growth, a call to approach life with curiosity over fear, with openness over rigidity. By releasing the reins of control, we find wisdom in the unknown's embrace. Schopenhauer beckons us towards silent observation and flexibility, away from the exhausting need for rigid control. In the acknowledgement that we are not masters of our fate, we find liberation, not in surrendering our power, but in realigning it with a deeper sense of purpose. Our inner power thrives not in resistance, but in the authentic responses we weave into life's ever-changing tides. To let enough be enough, one must embrace the present, which Carl Jung described as embracing the fullness of existence without judgment. Amid the relentless calls of future and past, being rooted in now becomes an act of defiance. The present moment, so often overlooked, is where the sacred tapestry of life unfurls its threads. Here we find joy and sorrow entwined, a dance of experiences unfolding in silent beauty. By inhabiting each moment truly, we cultivate a delicate attunement to our inner selves, discovering riches often lost to the rush of ambition. Diverse spiritual traditions and mindfulness practices uphold the present as a gateway to peace. By anchoring ourselves in each heartbeat, we create space where enough can breathe freely. This tender practice welcomes life as it is, unbound by desires or unmet expectations. Only then can we cherish life's simple and profound beauty, transforming enoughness into a waterfall of contentment that fills our spirits. In our journey to quiet contentment, we discover satisfaction in life's simplest rhythms. True contentment is not stagnant, but a dynamic peace, swaying with acceptance and appreciation. It invites us to bask in the overlooked joys amid the pursuit of grandeur. Abandoning the insatiable quest for more, we gain sight of life's subtle textures and a suggestion that true abundance is found in the embrace of what we have. By nurturing contentment, we shift focus from lack to an appreciative engagement with life's fullness. Schopenhauer's musings remind us that less indeed carries profound weight and meaning. In claiming this gentle philosophy, gratitude and generosity take root, sowing connections that nurture our souls and fortify our spirits. Such contentment reveals enough not as limitation, but as an invitation to dwell fully in the art of being. At our core, accepting imperfection means courageously stepping into the light of self-awareness. Imperfections seen not as flaws, but as life's intricate brushstrokes tell our stories. By shedding society's unrealistic ideals, we find compassion for ourselves and each other. Jungian shadow work reminds us that embracing our shadows dismantles their power, uncovering deeper layers of authenticity. Here, we move beyond polished facades, discovering wholeness and kindness, unfurling in the space where we finally understand our sufficiency. A profound state of liberation arises from the sacred art of letting go. In acknowledging impermanence, we release false securities and open to life's beauty, unravelled by mystery. Embracing this act of release aligns with Schopenhauer's insight, transforming our lives into fluid expressions of enoughness, a state where vast freedom awaits beyond the grasp of attachment. Letting go, we uncover a love-bound space of stillness and clarity, welcoming renewal and transformation into the vibrant dance of life. In a world that often idolizes the ceaseless march of productivity, the concept of becoming without force appears radical. Yet this pathway finds its roots in ancient wisdom, which holds that genuine transformation arises not through relentless striving, but through the quiet embrace of stillness. Here lies a paradox, a departure from our habitual need to exert control, inviting a natural unfolding rather than a constant struggle against the currents of our being. This shift demands that we recognize ourselves not as projects in need of fixing, but as inherently whole beings. Such openness cultivates a dynamic receptivity, a fertile ground where profound awareness is born. Imagine for a moment the profound stillness of a meditative state where active intent gives way to passive presence and insights emerge slowly, like silt settling to reveal a crystal clear surface beneath. This approach of non-doing is not about forsaking responsibility, but about creating a sanctuary where inner alchemy can occur. By releasing the ego's relentless grip, we make room for the self-discovery Carl Jung envisioned, a gentle unveiling, not of predefined perfection, but of authentic individuality through serene self-acceptance. Cultural narratives often glorify firmness and resolve, but there is immense strength in softness, a flexibility and resilience that mere hardness cannot offer. True softness invites vulnerability and brightens the courage to sit with life as it is, fostering resilience against life's unpredictable tempests. Visualize the willow bending in the storm. Its branches do not break because of their yielding nature. By aligning with our softer selves, we nurture a core strength deeply tied to our hearts, grounding growth in love, not conquest. This is the resilience Viktor Frankl describes, not forged by resistance, but by discovering purpose and meaning in life's unfolding. Patiently embracing the rhythm of life forms the dance between patience and acceptance, moving us towards genuine self-exploration. Patience, underestimated in our hurried world, holds transformative power, teaching reverence for growth's natural timing. It offers space for creativity to blossom, unburdened by external timelines. Acceptance, intertwined with patience, grounds us in the present. By acknowledging circumstances without judgment, we allow transformation, signaling safety to our psyche. Through Carl Rogers's lens, acceptance becomes a profound embrace of reality, grounding us in the present moment where true change becomes possible. As we tread this gentle path, it is crucial to trust our inner processes, dismissing the inner dictate that seeks to control each element of personal evolution. Trust nurtures curiosity over criticism, welcoming the subtle guidance of our internal compass. This deeply informed trust aligns with Nietzsche's idea of unfolding into our authentic selves, freeing us from the race of self-improvement. It's a tapestry of exploration, each thread a curiosity-driven dialogue toward greater awareness. A pivotal aspect of such growth is detachment from specific outcomes. Detachment is not about silencing desires, but about releasing the fixation on certain results. Embrace uncertainty and let go of control born from fear rather than faith. Viktor Frankl's existential wisdom echoes here, finding meaning amidst life's uncontrollables and guiding us to view journeys as precious experiences. In loosening our grip on expectations, failure, and success become learning avenues equally valuable. In our gentle pursuit of wholeness, recognizing beauty amidst imperfection demands deep self-compassion. Wholeness emerges not by smoothing rough edges, but by weaving them into the broader narrative of our lives, celebrating the richness they bring. Embrace the beauty within imperfections, as in the Japanese concept of wabi-sabi, finding strength in vulnerability and authenticity. By integrating even the parts once rejected, we foster genuine connection and acceptance. This journey unfolds not only psychologically, but spiritually. As an ecology within, individual elements in graceful symbiosis, personal growth becomes a cooperative interaction, an ecological balance resonating with ancient truths and modern interconnectedness. Our growth influences and is influenced by those around us, like a garden thriving with diversity. Such acknowledgement forms an ecosystem where authentic growth transcends individual triumph. Rituals offer sacred spaces fostering growth without force. Deeply personal, these rituals are touchstones for reflection and renewal, be it through meditation or quiet contemplation. They expand time, creating pauses where we reconnect with our essence. Rituals become acts of self-care and witness, insights unfurling in their embrace. Regular engagement invites stillness and clarity, allowing transformation to organically root. Silence holds transformative potential, akin to a crucible where authenticity emerges. Here, the clamour of striving dissolves, revealing the inner depths, not absence of sound, but presence of deep listening. Silence offers patience and introspection, where the clutter of daily life fades, allowing inner wisdom's subtlety. In silence, the philosopher's stone of transformation is gently awakened. Meister Eckhart reminds us, the journey into silence is a return to our unadulterated essence. This path ultimately asks for a reverent acceptance of life's journey, a deep gratitude for the lessons and beauty in every experience. Acceptance is not passive resignation, but an active engagement with reality, embracing life's complexities and paradoxes. Life's journey is not about conquest, but a profound exploration glimpsed through the lens of existential philosophy. As this chapter draws to a close, know that true growth emerges not from force or will, but through a heartfelt surrender to life's profound mystery. If this resonated with you, I invite you to like and subscribe to our channel, joining us on a shared path of exploration and self-discovery.